Want to tip the host? Just scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Get a free Houston Sports State of the Union podcast t-shirt with a donation of $50 or more.
Following program is brought to you by Broke Ass Furniture, where it don't matter if you're broke, so is the furniture. So get your broke ass down here and buy some furniture. If the Texans win the Super Bowl, you get your money back, but I'm taking the furniture back too. Dial 1-800-BROKE-AF and ask for Futon Frank. Broke Ass Furniture saves you money!
This is the Houston Sports State of the Union podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, the president of Houston Sports Nation, Nick Stevenson.
My goodness, thank you. Thank you. Please stop it. Sit down. My fellow Houstonians, welcome to the Houston Sports State of the Union address for the week of May 12th. I am the self-appointed president of Houston Sports Nation, Nick Stevenson. And once again, there's 1,000 different things you could be doing this evening. You chose to spend a little bit of time with me. I thank you so much. We got quite a bit to talk about. In tonight's show, the Houston Astros are on a little mini win streak, winning 4 out of the last 5. The bullpen's looking better. Bregman's bat is awakened. The Verlander man's looking good. Fromber's looking strong. Got Blanco on the bump tonight. To trade or not to trade? That is the question. The Houston Rockets landed the number 3 pick in the draft after winning 41 games in this past season. As a team that is on the brink to trade or not to trade. And the Texans' rival is asking the question to trade, not to trade. Marshawn Lattimore has been rumored to possibly be traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars. We will discuss if we think the Texans should beat them to it. We'll discuss all this and more on tonight's show. I appreciate once again you guys being here. Really quick, there are ways you can support. This smells like bad habits die hard, man. There are ways you can support the Houston Sports State of the Union podcast. One of them you're doing right now. You're watching, you're listening. Hopefully by now you're sharing with your friends. You're hitting like, follow, subscribe. And anybody who enjoys Houston sports, I hope you're sharing this with them. If you guys continue to do that, that's the best way to grow this thing. Like I said, this whole success of this podcast is dependent on you guys, and I appreciate you so much for everything that you've done thus far. Also, you have a tip jar. You can either use that QR code if you're watching the video. There's also a link to the tip jar in the description of the video that you're watching, and you'll see that alongside the affiliate links to Houston Featured Fan Gear of the Week, and there are affiliate links for Amazon to my to the podcast equipment that I use to bring you this show. Anytime you purchase any of those from my links, as always, I'll cash in a little cha-ching on that. So I appreciate it very much. And then lastly, sponsorship. If you're interested in sponsoring the show, if you'd like to see your business advertised on the Houston Sports State of the Union podcast, I would love to do so for you. I make custom ads. We'll do live reads. And anytime we do any live locations or any other events that I plan on doing, your name and your business's name will be plastered all over it. So if you're interested in doing that, please email me at hsstateoftheunionpod@gmail.com, or you can DM me on any of the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, X, or TikTok, which there's also a link to my TikTok in the link tree that you find in the description of this video. So those are the ways you can support the show. I appreciate everybody who's supporting right now by watching. As I tell you guys all the time, I want this show to be about more than just sports, more than about the game. In the last few episodes, we really haven't gone into anything other than sports, but I wanted to take this opportunity to thank everybody who wished me a happy birthday. My birthday was on Sunday, which was also Mother's Day. So I believe I was actually born, the date I was born was also Mother's Day. I believe that happens every 6 years, 7 years. You guys do the math. Anyway, but this is actually the first time I got to celebrate Mother's Day with my mother, I think, ever. If any of you guys know, I did not grow up celebrating holidays. And my mother lives in Baltimore for the past 9, almost 10 years. And so we haven't had an opportunity to spend very many holidays together at all. So this was really special. I got to spend Mother's Day with her and my wife. We went and ate out I want to shout out this restaurant, Viola and Agnes, in Seabrook. They are not a sponsor of the Houston Sports State of the Union podcast, but if they would like to be, holler at your boy. Fantastic restaurant. If you're going to go there, make sure you got some time because they have one chef and he makes everything from scratch. But I'm telling you, it is well worth the wait. We had a great time there. The cool thing about it is even though you're going to wait a little while, we brought some dominoes. Sometimes we bring cards, other types of games. It's just good environment, good music, and excellent food. So you guys go check it out if you get the opportunity. The best part about the weekend, well, I don't want to say the best part. There were so many great parts about the weekend. I really am blessed, to be honest with you. But my wife surprised me with a party at the house, and I had all of my close friends and family there, which was really special because I'll be completely honest with you, I don't really celebrate myself much. That might come as a surprise to you as someone who has dubbed himself the president of Houston sports. But I don't often do a whole lot of things for myself. And it was nice to be celebrated a little bit. I have to be honest. I gave JJ Watt a little bit of guff last week for loving the spotlight. But I got to tell you, man, it's kind of cool when you're the center of attention and people are giving you love. Had a great time. So many good friends, so many good family that showed up, ones that I hadn't seen in a long time. We had a great time. My kids got me and my wife a little bit of a getaway for our anniversary, which is coming up on May the 27th. My kids are old enough to work now, so they make their own money. Mimi might have hooked them up a little bit too. I'm not exactly sure how they afforded to pay for it. I might have to start charging them rent now that I think about it. I don't know. But they got us a little getaway for our anniversary. My wife got us tickets to go see Usher. Anybody who knows me personally knows I am a very, very huge Usher fan. So I'm super excited that we'll be going to see that concert in October, I believe. And then in November, we're going to see Aerosmith. Like I said, man, I'm very blessed. And it's not because of the things that I was given. It's not because someone threw me a party and told me how great I was all day. I'm really blessed because of the people in my life, my good friends, my good family. And that includes you guys. Anybody who takes the time to listen to this show, like I said, it's about more than the games. It's about the relationships and the bonds that we make through sports. Sports is one of those transcendent things that no matter what your race, religion, political ideology, everybody inside of NRG Stadium, Toyota Center, Minute Maid, they're all rooting for one common cause. And they've experienced all the ups and downs that come with these teams. They've experienced the heartbreak. They've experienced the joy. So that is what bonds us together. If it takes sports to do it, that's fine. You guys know one of the reasons I decided to do a sports podcast is because I wanted to give us a little bit of a break and a getaway from all the crazy things that are going on in the world. But anybody who's listening to this, anybody who supports, I just want you to know, whether you made it to my birthday party or not, you're equally as special. I'm equally as blessed to have you guys supporting me and supporting this podcast. And we may not always agree on our sports takes, but I know that we're always going to care about our Houston sports teams. And that's why I'm proud to rep this city 10 toes down. So I just wanted to thank everybody who did wish me a happy birthday. Thank everybody who did come out to the party. And I want to wish a very happy Mother's Day to anyone that I did not get an opportunity to wish that to. I hope all of you wonderful mothers out there had wonderful Mother's Day. Now, let's get to the business of why you're here. Let's do the Houston Sports State of the Union. We will start with the state of the Houston Astros. All right. Like I said, Astros on a little mini streak here, man. They've won 4 out of their last 5. They've looked good doing it. Now, granted, the competition hasn't been great, but they won the Tigers series, and the Tigers are a team that's over 500. And they had been well over 500 for the most of the season. Previously we won the Cleveland series, which was nothing to shake a stick at. Cleveland's a good team. But yeah, I mean, even though the competition, we've been playing Detroit's not a great team. They're a good team. And the Oakland Athletics are also under 500. And 4 out of the last 5, and even in the loss, the Astros haven't looked terrible. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Fromber looks good. Verlander looks good. Bregman's bat's woken up a little bit. And to me, most importantly, the pitching has been really, really good. Specifically, Abreu, Presley, Hader is actually starting to look like the way it's supposed to look, the way that we thought it would look. And that's what's impressed me. In the last 5 appearances for, let's start with Abreu. Let's see. No, in the last 5 appearances for Hader, I'll start with Hader because he's the one who we spent the big money on. He's gone 6 1/3. He's given up 1 earned run, and that was a home run. So they're not rounding the bases on him, not giving up multiple hits. He has 3 saves, and he struck out 10. That's pretty solid. That's what they paid him the big bucks to do. Presley has also only given up 1 earned run in his last 5 appearances. He's pitched 4 2/3. His 1 run was also a home run. He struck out 7. And then Abreu also only given up 1 run in his last 5 appearances, 5 1/3 innings, 11 Ks. Like that is what the back of the Houston Astros bullpen was supposed to look like. So very, very happy that seems to be trending upward. But it's not just those 3. If we take a look at the Astros pitching staff as a whole, over the last 5 games, 3.68 ERA. Over the last 5 games, that's good enough for, top 15. I believe it's 12th. They've got a 4-1 record, got 2 saves in the last 5. 10.23 strikes per 9, 7.98 hits per 9. It's not bad. 3.89 walks. That's a bit much. We don't want to do 3 walks per 9 innings. Almost 4 not walks per 9 innings. But the whip, as you can see, because they've gotten so many strikeouts, I think they have a total of 50 strikeouts in the last 5 games. So their whip is down to 1.32, which is among the top of the league in those last 5 games. So the pitching looks like what we were hoping it would look like at the beginning of the season. It looks good. Once again, still need to get Javier back to his form he was in before the injury because he got rocked his last time out. We don't know what's going to happen with with Jose Urquidy or with Lance McCullers, but we're supposed to be expecting to see them back at some point this season. And I'm very, very happy to show you guys Alex Bregman's last 5 games. He got 3 hits yesterday, but in the last 5 games, he's batting .400, 6 RBIs, 2 home runs, 2 doubles. He's scored 4 runs and he's walked once. It's just a 5-game stretch, but that's the type of numbers we want to see from Alex Bregman. That's the type of numbers we hoped we would see from Alex Bregman. And honestly, he doesn't have to hit 400 for this season. Honestly, if he hits in the high 290s, 300, that's where you expect a person who thinks that he deserves the type of money that I'm pretty sure Alex Bregman thinks he deserves. Those are the type of numbers you want to see him having. So that's all positive. Everything is on the upward trend, And it just makes you ask the question, though, is it too little too late? Because all that being said, the Astros are still 16-25. They're 6.5 games out of first in the AL West, and they are 8 games back in the wild card. So again, it's the theme of the show, to trade or not to trade. We talked about a few shows ago that Alex Bregman might not even have any trade value because of the way he's been playing. I think he just hit his first home run right before being an entire month home run. Excuse me. Did I say home one? He hit his first home run. It took him about a month. I think he's only got 3 on the season right now, but he hit 2 of them in 1 game. If he continues on the trend that he's on, though, now the Astros are between a rock and a hard place. Because if he continues on the trend that he's on, and the pitching continues on the trend that they are on, you got to believe the Astros are probably going to be winning games in that stretch. So the question is, to trade or not to trade? I think it's still too early to decide, hey, let's just burn this thing down. Or even if you decide we're not going to burn it down, but we are going to get rid of some guys, I think it's still a little bit too early to decide that. And here's why. I mean, if you can finish strong again in this A's series, dare I say sweep it. Let's say you sweep the A's. The A's, it's not completely inconceivable that you could sweep the A's. Then you have a huge series in the NL, which is where you can always make up ground because you're playing in the National League, so all of your wins are just boosting you up the standings. And you're not helping anybody else in the in the AL improve their record. So you have a huge series coming up against the NL Central leading Brewers. That's not going to be an easy task. I know my man Sean Salmon is going to be rooting for the Astros. He's a huge Cubs fan, and I believe that the Brewers are half a game in front of the Cubs right now. But you got that Brewers series. After that, you have a 3-game series with Los Angeles, who I believe the Angels are ahead of us still. Or are they behind us? I'm going to look at the standings really quick. This is really terrible radio/podcast, but if you'll bear with me, I just want to double check our standings. No, LA is in last, so they're a game and a half behind us. So you got a 3-game series with them. Really, really, really want to get at least 2 out of 3. Hopefully sweep. And then you got a 3-game series against Oakland after that, and then a 4-game series with Seattle. So you got a lot of division games coming up where you have a chance to make up some ground. But the Astros are going to have to ball out. They're going to have to go on a crazy run. But it's not inconceivable. They got to do some damage. By the end of that Mariner series, I think we'll have a good idea of if we're going to be able to answer that question to trade or not to trade. Because like I said, Bregman, if he keeps trending up, he's a very, very desirable looking piece to a team who actually is going to the playoffs if the Astros indeed do not make the playoffs. So around the trade deadline, if it's looking like they're out of it, he's going to be a piece that, especially if he is trending upward the way he has been, it's going to be hard to not be tempted to try to move him. I think Presley as well. Presley's on the last year of his deal, if I'm not mistaken. So any playoff team would love to have somebody who's closed big games before, pitched in big games before. And I think he still got it. You know, he's been pitching very well, like I said, over his last 5, really over his last 10 or so outings. He's looked really good. So back to the question. What to do? Me personally, president of Houston Sports Nation, you guys know me. I'm a fighter. I don't want to give up. I say let's keep hope alive a little bit longer. We got first pitch in about 20 minutes. You got to handle your business versus the A's, man. But I say we keep hope alive. We got to channel that 2005 Houston Astros, 2019 Nationals, even the 2022 Phillies, although we beat them in the World Series. They had no business being there based on the way they played early in the regular season. But let's keep it real, man. It's going to have to be something really special. The Astros are going to have to do something unbelievable. But this is H-Town, baby. We've seen our teams do unbelievable before. We've seen it. We've seen the Astros do it. We've seen the Rockets do it. We've seen the Texans do it. There's no reason to give up hope. Not yet. Trust me, when the time comes where I think it's time to stick a fork in the Astros, I'll let you know. I'll definitely let you know. But I don't think that time has arrived just yet. Okay. What do you guys think, though? Haven't seen anybody in the chat so far, but if you're there, if you'd like to chime in, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to possibly call in later as well and have your voice heard. But as I move on in this show, I'd like to know what you think about the Houston Astros. If you think it's time for them to start making trades or to start at least fielding offers for trades, or do you think they need to hang on a little bit longer and see if this upward trend continues? All right, let's go ahead and move on to the state of the Houston Rockets. All right. Somehow, some miracle, the Houston Rockets acquired the number 3 pick in the draft lottery on Sunday. Now, that pick actually belonged to Brooklyn. Their pick, I believe, went to OKC because they owed OKC from the Russell Westbrook trade. So after making that trade, a lot of people were very critical of the fact that they gave up so many picks just to get rid of Chris Paul. But the James Harden trade kind of made up for all that because the number 9, what should have been the number 9 pick from Brooklyn, ended up turning into the number 3. And for some reason, Brooklyn had 0 protections on that pick. Now, according to all the pundits, in any other year, at number 3, you'd be expecting to be drafting a potential superstar, right? Well, according to all of the draft experts, pundits, they say that this draft class is weak. That's what they're labeling it, as a weak draft class. I see you there, Mr. Chopping It Up with P. Scott. He believes the Astros should trade everybody, trade the stadium, trade the fans. Oh, that's messed up. But no, so the Houston Rockets are in a similar situation where they got to ask themselves, we finished 41-41 last season, just barely missed the play-in. If you really think about it, there's 5-6 games last season that they lost in the last few minutes of the game that they had leads in. I mean, this could have very well been a playoff team, and they could have been having all the fun that these playoff teams are having right now. Maybe even pulling off some upsets. I know me personally, I didn't think Dallas would be doing as well as they're doing in the playoffs in the 5th seed. They still got a task in front of them, though. But as I've been watching the playoffs, I just miss seeing the Rockets there. And they have some really important decisions to make. Some really, really important decisions to make. Starting with, what do we do with this number 3 pick? Do we keep it? Or do we trade it? To trade or not to trade? So, I'm sorry. It looks like P. Scott is talking about the Rockets. He wants them to trade their pick. You know what? I'm glad you said that because I tend to agree with you. Now, let's be very, very clear. What I really want the Rockets to do is get some consistent shooting. I don't care where it comes from, specifically 3-point shooting. Look, I love what Dylan Brooks brought to the team with all of his shenanigans and all of his staring at people and weird outfits. Look, man, he brought a sense of toughness. He brought some identity, and he is a very physical defensive player. And I thought he brought the right attitude to every game. He crossed the line every now and again, but I think every team needs that. If you're a Houston Rockets fan, you remember Vernon Maxwell. He crossed the line sometime, but that dude was a baller, and he had the back of all of his teammates. That's the type of dude you need. You need a little bit of crazy on your team, in my opinion. And he provides all the crazy one can handle. But he can't shoot, bro. I'm sorry, not consistently. He'll shoot 42% for a month and then shoot 24% for the next month. And I think, like I said, I don't care where it comes from. You got to get shooting. A lot of people are under the impression that the Rockets need a big man to play defense and rebound. I don't disagree with that, but you don't got to get that this year. Keep in mind, you got Steven Adams. I think you can bring back Jock Landale. Landale, however you want to say his name. I think you can get that defensive rebounding big man. This year's not the year you need it. You desperately need shooting. And so I told you guys last week some of the trades that I would accept to upgrade the shooting around Alperen Şengün, the shooting around Jalen Green, and maybe even do some defensive upgrades. I've been reading, according to Zach Lowe of ESPN, the Rockets are looking to move the pick. That's going to be their first choice. And like I said, that's what I think they should do, because I don't care pre-draft workouts, shoot-arounds, the combine. I mean, you guys just saw Bronny James tore it up at the combine, right? Now this kid who averaged 2 points a game, there's real chatter that he could be drafted. There's no way he's going in the first round. But I don't think he should be drafted at all. And I'm not trying to be a LeBron hater, but I'm sorry, man. You averaged 2 points and 2 rebounds in college. You have no business being drafted in the NBA. I'm sorry. But we'll see what happens with that. But I digress. My point is that none of these things that these college prospects are doing right now is really going to tell you what they're going to be able to do at the next level. It'll give you an idea. You can guess, you can project, but the Rockets are in a situation where they need the bird in the hand. That's just my opinion. They need somebody they know is going to produce. But here's the guys that I'm not. If somebody calls, I'm telling you absolutely not. You're not getting them. Jalen Green, untouchable. Alperen Şengün, untouchable. Amen Thompson, untouchable. Cam Whitmore, can't have him either. Everybody else, we can talk. And I know some of you may be surprised that I'm including Jabari Smith Jr. in that. And don't get me wrong, I really, really like Jabari Smith Jr. And you might think it's weird, like, because he's on one of the only good three-point shooters on the team. But I'm saying, hey, throw him in a trade. Well, you know how it is, man. You got to give up something to get something. And I think that Jabari Smith, although he's valuable and what he does is extremely important, it's replaceable. You can find long, tall guys who can shoot, rebound a little bit, play some decent perimeter defense. I think Jabari's defense actually has not been what we were sold that it was going to be when he first got drafted. However, he's only going into his third year, so you never know. But for me, I would put Jabari in a trade package for anybody that they would possibly be interested in. So I've been on social media, and I have seen dozens of posts and suggestions from fans that the Rockets trade the number 3 pick and Dylan Brooks back to Brooklyn for Mikal Bridges. And to that I say, well, duh. Of course, the Rockets would make that deal in a heartbeat. I don't think they would. I don't think there's any way that the Rockets don't make that deal in a heartbeat. But unfortunately, this is an NBA 2K. You can't toggle on trade override. Why the hell would the Nets make that deal? Wait a minute. My bad. I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about a competent organization. We're talking about the Nets. Of course you call and you offer them that deal. It's the Nets. Keep in mind, the Nets have already traded away their future twice for aging used-to-be superstars. If you recall, in 2013, they traded away draft picks that became Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Colin Sexton, and Damian Lillard. And who did they trade away those picks for? Like a 40, 50-year-old Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Jason Terry. So yes, call them up right now, see if they make that deal. There just might be a chance. See if they'll throw in more future picks. See if they'll throw in Claxton. Hey man, we'll include one of our ball boys, and you give us Claxton. How about that? Now, in all seriousness, I think the Nets have finally learned their lesson. It seems like they're trying to be smarter now. There's reports that they're committed to trying to win with Mikal Bridges and their new head coach, Jordi Fernandez, who, if you know who that is, please let me know. Jordi Fernandez, like, coaches in Canada right now or something. Sounds promising. But yeah, I would make the call. What's the worst thing that happens? They say no. But all I'm saying is, man, you call and you want Jalen, Alp, Cam, or Amen, I'm hanging up the phone. I'm hanging up the phone. You can't have those dudes. I just saw CJ hopped in. What's up, buddy? He says Jalen Green's got to go. I want to remind you, man, Jalen Green's 23. And I agree with, I understand your sentiment. He balled out at the end of the season. And I think you got to give him one more year, man, to prove it. If he can do what he did at the end of the season, next season, all year, and the Rockets become a playoff team, look, man, I think he's got the potential to be balling on the same level as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the same level as Anthony Edwards. Like, his talent is that good, man. He does things that nobody else can do or very few people can do on the court. But I understand your sentiment, man. I understand your sentiment. But I'm giving that guy one more year to prove it. And if he does, I'm throwing the bag at him. That's just how I feel about it. But if you think he needs to go, here's what I would ask you. If Jalen Green needs to go, what player do you think should replace him? What trade package are you throwing Jalen Green in to get who? Because that's also the important part. I can't think of too many players I would trade Jalen Green for right now other than Anthony Edwards. I don't even think I'd trade for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think Jalen Green is better than him now. I know he didn't have the same type of season, but I think his skill set, what he does, what he's able to do, and I'm talking about a dude who's balling out in the playoffs right now, scoring 30. I know, but it's just my opinion, man. Jalen Green has the potential to be that dude. Let's see. Yeah, chopping up with P. Scott, he says, I do that in a heartbeat. I believe he's talking about the Dylan Brooks for Mikal Bridges. Who wouldn't? I mean, you make the phone call, like I said. Maybe Brooklyn's dumb enough to do it. Maybe they are. CJ and my father both have ringed in and said we need a true center. Şengün is too small and Jabari is also too small. I don't disagree with that. But I think that Şengün is a starting center. Şengün I think he's the youngest of all the rookies from that season. I think he just turned 22. And I know he's not growing another 5 or 6 inches, but he's still growing. And his defense, he was a much improved defensive player last season. He was a much improved defensive player. I'm not going to pretend he's Rudy Gobert, bro, but he's improved. I think Şengün is a starter and a future all-star. I would not replace him. Backup center, someone to maybe take up center minutes while Şengün plays power forward minutes, absolutely. And that's why I think the Steven Adams trade, even though he wasn't playing last year, was a really good trade. I think Steven Adams, and if you re-sign Jock Landale, I think they give you some of that size and rebounding that you need when Şengün is in the game. And I can see a scenario where either of those guys is playing on the floor with Şengün at the same time. And I don't disagree, man. But to me, that's something you can get later. This team needs shooting bad, so bad. They need somebody who can knock down a shot. It doesn't matter how hot Jalen Green, Şengün, or anybody. They need somebody who can knock down a shot. Even Fred VanVleet, as much as I loved what he did for this team, he just wasn't a consistent shooter. Now, he would, same as Dylan Brooks, he would get hot. He'd go off for 2-3 weeks in a row where he's knocking everything down. And then he'd go 2-3 weeks where he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. I just think you need some consistent shooting, some consistent scoring, somebody to take pressure off of people like Jalen Green or even Cam Whitmore. when Amen Thompson's on the floor, he's not going to be shooting lights out. So you need somebody when he collapses that defense with his driving that he can kick it out to, man. I don't disagree that a center is a need of this team. I just don't think it's the number one need. And I could be wrong. The Houston Rockets may think otherwise. There's a couple of centers in this draft. The gentleman out of Connecticut. Dude, I need to take my ginkgo biloba or something. I keep forgetting names in the middle of the show. CJ says, I wouldn't be mad if we traded Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, Brooks, and Van Fleet. Damn! That's 4 of your starting 5, bro. You won 41 games last year. Woo! Man, that's crazy. But hey, bro, I love the passion, and I understand that you just want the Rockets to be good. But he's trading everybody, bro. Everybody. Look, I would let go of Van Fleet for the right trade. To me, Van Fleet's not untouchable. This is the package I would put together, and this is for either Mikal Bridges, Paul George as an opt-in and trade has been an option. I haven't seen this anywhere, but I want you guys to tell me what you think. Jabari Smith Jr., the 3rd pick, and Fred VanVleet to the Phoenix Suns for Bradley Beal. You have a starting lineup of Amen Thompson, Jalen Green, Bradley Beal, power forward, Tari Eason, if he can stay healthy, or power forward, Alperen Sengun, center, Steven Adams, Jock Landale coming off the bench. CJ says, hell no. Bro, Bradley Beal, before this season, is a very elite scorer and a very decent defender. And because of the injury he had early this season, I think you can get away with giving up less for him. And Phoenix needs a point guard. They have no point guard. To me, Van Fleet instantly makes them a better team. Especially since at least I think Van Fleet only missed like 4 or 5 games this season. Maybe a little bit more. And it doesn't have to just be straight up Bradley Beal. Like you can throw in some filler. I just mean those are the major pieces. I don't know, man. But no, I would package. This is what I would package: Tari Eason, Jabari Smith, 3rd pick to Brooklyn for Mikal Bridges. Maybe you have to throw in Dylan Brooks. You probably have to throw in Dylan Brooks. So we'll go Jabari Smith, Dylan Brooks, Tari Eason for Mikal Bridges, and maybe like a 3rd string big man. How about that? Hey, my man P. Scott says he wants to call in, and that's good because I'm going to open up the phone lines in just a little bit. So you can tell me all about it, man. But like I said, if teams won't budge off of my untouchables, which to me, I apologize, CJ, Jalen is on that list. He's untouchable right now. Now, come see me at the trade deadline. If he's stinking it up again and he's trash and the Rockets are underachieving, now we're having a completely different conversation. But you ain't getting nobody of significance for him if that happens. So, but I really do. I really, really, really believe that he's going to take a big step this season. I just believe in his talent way too much. And I've seen what he can be at his best. And when he's at his best, there's not a lot of people in the league that can do what he does. But yeah, if they won't come off my untouchable list, then I'm keeping the pick and I'm drafting somebody. Straight up. That's just what I'm going to do. I'm trying to think. At number 3, you probably can get either of the guards from Kentucky. You got Reed Shepherd. You got Rob Dillingham. Now, they're both smaller guards at 6'3", but you've got Amen Thompson, you've got Jalen, like you've got size. I think they're both bigger than Aaron Holiday, and Aaron Holiday played some pretty good point guard for this team. And they can shoot, man. The Dillingham kid is the one that intrigues me because he's got handle. He can pull up from mid-range. He can shoot the three. All the mocks that I've seen him, he's going down to like number 8, which I believe is the Memphis Grizzlies have that pick. But yeah, if I can't get them to stay away from Alperen Şengün, Jalen Green, Cam Whitmore, Amen Thompson, then I keep the pick and I just draft the best shooter that I can find. And maybe that means, I don't know if that means moving off of it, or entering a third team to where somehow you just get more shooting on this team. However you do it, I don't care. We just need more shooting. I do agree we need a big man, but I think with the signing of Steven Adams, you bring back Jock Landale, you're good at the center position, at least for this season. The Rockets were starting to cook before Alp went down. And so I really want to see what Ime Udoka can do in his second year and what he can do with all of these pieces together and what he can do with some perimeter shooting. Like, we saw what he did in Boston with all the shooters they had there. And they could even afford to have a guy, I'm blanking out on names again. You guys will tell me. He won Defensive Player of the Year. He played for Oklahoma State. Holler back at me. All right, CJ. Come on, bro. You want to... CJ, I love you, bro. I love you, bro. Tyler Hero. You would trade Jalen Green for Tyler Hero right now. Like, if pretend you're Rafael Stone, Miami calls you and says straight up, Tyler Hero for Jalen Green. You're pulling the trigger on that. You're going to have to call, bro. I'm going to open up the phone a little bit. You're going to have to call. But here's the thing, man. In my opinion, the Rockets need an impact player. If they can pull off a deal for somebody like Bridges, somebody like, I would even, what do you guys think? CJ, what do you think about Paul George? Listen, let me, while we're having this conversation, I'm going to go ahead and put up the number. You guys call in. Anybody who wants to discuss this, I apologize in advance. I don't have call waiting. So if there's somebody on the call, you're going to have to wait until they hang up. But go ahead and call the number. It's 832-835-3141. Let me let you guys get in on this. Let me make sure I'm connected Bluetooth here. Phones are forwarded. Okay. Yeah, because we got to talk about this. CJ says 100%. He trades Jalen Green for Tyler Hero. CJ, I love you, bro. Like, you need to come to the house and we need to watch a game together because you got to show me what you're seeing. I know you watch basketball. I know you do. I know that you do. Matter of fact, CJ's on the call right now. Give me just a second. CJ, you there, man? Hold on a second. My phone is always rejecting. All right, Bubba, you there?
Hello?
Yeah. Hey, bro, we got to talk about this, man.
Hey, okay.
You're telling me straight up.
Okay.
Let me just, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Listeners understand what we're saying.
Yeah.
Here. So you're Rafael Stone and your phone rings and Pat Riley says, hey, man.
My phone's ringing.
Pat Riley says, hey, Rafael, how's it going, man? I'm just chilling out here in Miami. I got a trade idea for you. Straight up, Tyler Hero for Jalen Green.
No, and Bam Adebayo.
You get Bam and Hero.
I put Bam.
Bam and Hero
Gone.
for
Gone.
Just for Jalen Green.
Gone.
So
Bam and
2
Hero,
for 1.
gone.
2 for 1.
Gone.
Gone. I don't know, bro.
Here's the thing.
I don't know.
Hero. Look, Tyler Hero has playoff experience. He has playoff experience.
Not great playoff
and
experience,
the dude could
yes.
flat out ball. The dude could flat out ball. I mean, look,
he can't do what Jalen Green can do.
Field goal percentage. But that's the problem is we don't need another James Harden. We need a system player. Just like Steph Curry. Steph Curry's all-time great, but he is a great system superstar. He could fit into any system and he could ball. Tyler Hero is not. I'm not saying he's a Steph Curry, but I'm saying Tyler Hero is a system superstar. He could play ISO ball if he needs ISO ball, but he could flat out shoot. He's a shooter.
I'm not going to deny
that's
that.
Something Jalen Green is not.
But Jalen Green is not a shooter. Jalen Green's a scorer.
He's not.
Jalen Green is a scorer.
He is an undersized point guard that's a scorer.
Bro, Jalen Green is 6'6", almost 6'7".
No,
Prescott, I see you there.
I thought he was 6'4".
No, man. When he got drafted, he was 6'4". He was also 19 years old. He's grown up to 6'6".
All right. Okay.
Prescott, I see you calling. I'm gonna get to you next. Go ahead, CJ.
Here's the thing, though, is I don't see that dog in Jalen Green. And
did you watch him at the end of the season, though?
And I did. I watched the end of the season, and I just didn't think it was. He's another James Harden 2.0, just not as consistent. He's not a
far more
player.
athletic. You got to give him this, though. He's way more athletic than James Harden.
Athleticism, I know, but athleticism just doesn't. It helps, but it just doesn't win games.
And you know where it helps, though? He's going to be. I believe he already is a better defensive player than James Harden. Did you watch him against OKC, bro? That dude, the dude balled. Hold on a second. Give me just a second.
Yeah.
Prescott, I'm gonna get to you in just a second. Hold tight. All right, CJ. I got another guy on hold. I'm gonna let you go ahead and finish your point. And then I'm gonna get to him.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. Get you the next one. But yeah, man, Jalen. So Amin Thompson's our starting point guard, man. The dude.
Now he can't shoot.
Defense.
He's great, but he can't shoot. You got to admit that.
I'm not. Yeah, this is his rookie year. So he plays elite defense. He's a rebound point guard. He's like a Sean Livingston when the Warriors had their go.
I like that comp. Yeah, that's a good comp.
That's okay.
But you got to again. So you have to admit if you have him on the floor, though, you got to admit this though. If you have him on the floor, you got to have shooting around him, right?
You got to have Tyler Hero.
Dude, Tyler Hero is like a really good sixth man in my opinion.
He is, and then you have Bam Adebayo. The dude can catch lobs. He's a good perimeter defender. We need perimeter defense. Sengun is a baller. Jabari is a baller. But I'm not afraid to let Jabari go. I think Sengun's going to be better than Jabari.
That's the one guy I think you can move. It would hurt, but you can still move him.
Yeah.
Man, man, we're going to have to talk about this next time I see you. I know you're not working with me anymore, but no, this is what we're gonna do, man.
I know, man. I'm training.
Look, man. Every other Tuesday, I got Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm gonna let you know, man. We'll come in. We'll talk about this some more. We got to get together and catch a game together, bro. We'll go to timeout or something.
Oh yeah.
And we'll have a beer and we'll finish this conversation up, man. But I appreciate you calling in. I appreciate you listening. But I really do appreciate.
I'm gonna keep watching. I want to hear what other people think.
All right, Bubba. Appreciate you.
All right.
All right. That's CJ. Let's go ahead and get to Mr. Prescott Kelly. Prescott, you there, my bud? P. Scott. He's probably checking on them ribs. What's up, man? You checking on them ribs or what?
The ribs are good. The ribs are good, man. They on the smoker, dog. Like I said, man, you can take the Prescott out of Texas, but you can't take the Prescott out of the Texas, man.
I hear you, Bubba.
Good. This man said that Steph Curry was a system. Oh boy, that man. I've never met this man, and I'm not trying to be like sports radio guy, but if you are allowed to have callers dictate your show, Steph Curry is a dude. Oh, okay. But you have to explain to me your thought process of who is not touchable, because we've seen untouchable dudes be traded, man.
No,
We see
I don't think you very rarely see untouchable dudes traded in their prime. But go ahead, I'm listening. I'll explain why after you give me your point.
No, but my thing is like, so the other guy had said like Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. You're not getting both of those guys. One, you're not getting both of those guys.
Not for Jalen Green.
Jalen Green. Two, yeah, that's not happening. But also, I'm with you. Is like Tyler Hero is like you called him a sixth man. To me, that's disrespectful. But to call him also, we saw that. Remember in 3 or 4 years ago, when James Harden and KD were up for a trade, Pat Riley said no because of Tyler Hero. I'm like, how short-sighted is that? Tyler Hero is.
I believe. Go ahead.
That seems disrespectful from a six-man guy, but to think that you cannot, to think that he's also this outlandish superstar.
Yeah,
nah, man,
I'll do you one better. Miami didn't want
to.
I'll give you one better. Miami didn't want Dame because they didn't want to give up Tyler Hero. That's crazy to me. Like,
right? Okay, and that is a better comp. Yeah,
I can't believe like I would have given up Tyler Hero for Damian Lillard in a heartbeat. And look, I know I'm a Houston sports podcaster, but I do watch other teams. I watch other players, man. Tyler Hero is to me, he's like a good sixth man. When I say sixth man, that's not to be disrespectful. Like he's sixth man of the year, caliber. You know, he's a Lou Williams, he's a Jamal Crawford type of player, but that's not a franchise guy. Like, I'm sorry, Jalen Green still has the potential to be a franchise guy. Now, like I said, at the trade deadline next season, if he's playing like, as you would say, doo-doo butter, or if he's cheeks, then we can have a conversation. But at that point, you're not getting anything of value for him if he's not balling out the way that he should. But to me, man, I think he has the ability to be on the SGA, Anthony Edwards. He has the ability to be in that conversation.
Yo, no, that is hyperbolic as hell, though, man. Like
you're telling me you don't think if he reached all of his potential, he wouldn't be just as good as those guys?
Yo, but how
I
many
know
times
he's not as good as them
though?
now. I know he's not as good as them now. But I'm saying, like, in a perfect world, he reaches his full potential. You don't think he's as good as those guys?
In a perfect world, I'm the one who is divorced from Tom Brady. I'm getting that money, dog.
No, 100%. But what I'm saying is right now, it's still too early to say he won't reach his max potential. I'm not saying he will.
That's fair.
It's too early to say that he won't.
No.
Though. So just if there's a chance that he does, if there's a chance that he reaches his maximum potential, you don't think he's as good as Ant-Man?
You're already putting him on. Oh, man, again. But see, this is where the hyperbole of sports always comes in. It's like, we thought Anthony Edwards beforehand was just entertaining. And it wasn't until this playoff series where we started to say, oh, he's the dog. And
well, that's everybody, man.
And then
almost nobody comes in the league and wrecks shop immediately. Like, there's only one LeBron James. So, you know what I mean? There's only one Wemby.
But that's kind of my point, though, is that we saw that and it had to get him here for 6 playoff games, basically, and we said he's the next Michael Jordan, and then he loses 2 games, and then he's
I don't know if I'm saying he's the next. I don't know if I'm saying he's the next Jordan. He's definitely among the faces of the league right now, though. I'm not saying he's Jordan.
I'm not saying that. No. I'm not saying that you're saying that. I'm saying that people are saying that.
Okay, but I still think it's fair to say he's among the Luka Doncic's, I would say Anthony Edwards is in that conversation. I guess kind of still Ja Morant. I don't know. You know what I mean? The next generation of faces of big superstars. Jalen Green has the potential to be among them.
Well, but we also, everything has a potential because everybody's so skilled. Because like you just named 5 different players, and we didn't even name guys like a Devin Booker. We didn't name other. You named Wemby, but like there's certain young guys that.
Devin Booker Devin Booker also, it was his 4th year when he broke out, and he got Chris Paul. Now, I know they went on that run in the bubble, but Devin Booker's another guy. I think right now, if you said, I'll trade you Devin Booker for Jalen Green, You're going to call me crazy? I say no. I'm not doing it.
No, see, and here's I don't think you're crazy because I do think that immediately Devin Booker's a better player, but he's also, again, 6 or 7 years older than Jalen Green.
And Jalen Green at his maximum potential is better because I'm pretty sure Devin Booker's at his max potential now. I don't think Devin Booker's getting any better than he is right now. I think he's reached his peak. And he's great. Don't get me wrong. But Jalen Green has the chance. And here's the thing. Right now, I'm pretty sure Phoenix isn't making that trade anyway. And this is also the caveat. No. Because when I say people are untouchable, obviously there are people in the league I would trade Jalen Green for. But there's only a few of them. And those teams probably aren't making that trade anyway. So you have Jalen Green in the building. Your choice is to get rid of him for somebody who's not going to be as good or better just because you can't get Ant-Man or you can't get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You know what I mean?
Right. But one of the other comments I had made was you have to take into consideration that Rudy Gobert went for 4 first-rounders 18 months ago. Good luck trading. It's like when you said everybody in your list who's untouchable, everybody is touchable. But Rudy Gobert went for 4 first-rounders. It completely changed the trade market.
I don't disagree with that either. And here's the thing. And man, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you calling in.
I know.
The thing is,
I hijacked your show.
No. It's fine. So look, the Rudy Gobert thing, though. Yeah, he went for 4 draft picks. But here's the deal. Then we've gotten to draft picks in the NBA are almost more for trades than actually draft picks anymore. Unless you have the drafts where you have a Wembanyama or you have multiple, you know what I'm saying? Like most draft picks in the NBA are just trade fodder now, especially second rounders. But even first rounders, look, the top 5 this season, I think any of those people would trade that pick for the right person in this particular draft. Like I said, I know the Rockets are trying to change theirs. I know. Here's the thing. You don't think Atlanta would trade the number 1 pick if they had an opportunity to add a superstar to play with? Why am I blanking on
Trae Young?
Trae Young. You don't think they'd trade that number 1 pick? I think they would.
But this is why. But see, here's the thing. This is why I think that you're the way that you premised your entire episode is so fantastic. You said trade or not to trade. You start with the Houston Astros, and you pivoted to the Rockets. And in any other year, and again, I'm not a big college basketball fan, but largely it's, you trade up to get the guy because you only have 2 rounds of the NBA draft. So when you have the number 3 overall pick, it's, let's get the guy.
Yeah, and any other year, you're not even considering trading that. Yeah. And any other year, you're picking number 3 and you're hoping that guy's going to be a superstar.
Right, exactly. But if this draft is so weak as it's supposed to be, you're saying I want to trade back, but everybody knows that you're going to trade back because it's weak, so you're not going to get anything back for it. Or you just reach on somebody. So like that's what I was saying in the chat is like Houston right now, as far as the Rockets are concerned, are in a catch-22 of we're number 3. That's a great spot, except for nobody thinks anybody's going to be any good. But when you look at people over the past 10 years who have been great, Jokic, Giannis, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, like you don't have to get Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, 100%.
You don't have to have a top 3 pick. So it's all a crapshoot anyways.
Yeah. This is what the Rockets need, my friend. They need Brooklyn to do what they did in 2013 and just give up a bunch of great assets for nothing. Or we need Daryl Morey to come back so he can trade for James Harden. And that's my thing. I think teams are a little bit smarter now because some of these huge mistakes have been made. And that's why I think the odds of the Rockets pulling off something fantastic with that number 3 pick and getting an all-star or a superstar are probably slim to none. So I think go ahead. What's probably going to happen, I'll just say that I think what's probably going to happen is they're going to make the pick. And they're hopefully going to get somebody who can shoot the damn ball. And that's my hope.
I love
if they make the pick.
I want to put this into the universe, and you can shoot it down when you want to because I know it will never happen. But I just want your organic reaction to They don't trade the pick. They get Bronny Jr. at number 3, and they get LeBron James in free agency. What is your overall reaction? Because I think it would be fantastic. It's never going to happen. And I know that you know that, and you know that I know that. But I want to see in real time, what would your reaction be if that happened?
My reaction would be fire everyone. Fire
except for LeBron James and Bronny.
Everyone. Bro, okay, like LeBron's gonna fall off the cliff eventually, right? And just my luck, it would be the year he played for the Houston Rockets. It would be the year he played for the Houston Rockets. All of a sudden, he'd tear both his ACLs. He'd break both his ankles. He'd get a concussion from flopping. He's the DeJuan Blair of Houston instead of San Antonio. Yes.
He has no ACL.
100%. 100%. So, look, man, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you calling in. We're going to find out, man. Like I said, to me, and let me just say, one of the reasons I believe that those guys are untouchable, because the people that I would trade them for aren't available. And that's really what makes them untouchable. Like, obviously, I would trade Cam Whitmore for Anthony Edwards, but Minnesota's not making that trade. Right? I would trade Amen Thompson for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but the Thunder aren't making that trade.
I'll trade you Sam Cassell for Shaq in Orlando. That sounds fair, right?
100%. 100%. I'll tell you what. And you know what? The Texans will take Josh Allen off your hand. He can be CJ's backup since you hate him so much. And we'll give you Mills. How about that?
I am so tired of you twisting my words. I got to edit myself. on your show. I have edited myself.
No, you don't.
I can't edit myself here. I got to edit myself.
I'm just saying, man, we'll take Allen off your hands. We'll give you Mills. And then, you'll have Allen will be the best backup in the NFL. Like, we will at any moment still be one ACL away from going to Super Bowl. Either way. So, no, man, I'm just messing with you. You know how to rub. No, you know how to dig at you a little bit, man. But I appreciate you so much, man. Thanks for calling. Thanks for listening. You let me know when them hoodies are ready. We'll have to swap gear, man. That way we're both repping each other's podcast.
Yes, sir. Sounds good, man.
All right, taking my call, talk to you soon. Yes, sir.
All right, love you, man.
All right, love you too, bud. That is Prescott Kelly of the Chopping It Up with P. Scott podcast. And I know I let him go a little long way. Man, CJ is going in on Jalen Green, man. He said he's not a superstar. You could be right, CJ. You might be right. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I believe the potential and the unknown is still too much for you to give up on him now. And I think the battery of my camera is about to die soon. So I should probably end this podcast pretty soon. So listen up, guys. This is what I'm going to say. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Houston Sports State of the Union podcast. The State of the Union is strong. I want to remind you really quick of the ways that you can support. You listen, you watch, you follow, you like, you subscribe. You've been doing that, and I appreciate it so much. You guys, like I said, without you guys, I'm in this room talking to myself. I want to thank P. Scott. I want to thank my pops. I want to thank CJ for tuning in on the chat. I hope to see you guys next week. We got to get together in person and have these debates. If you guys want to leave me a tip, there's my QR code, or you can find it in the description. And then I have my affiliate links there. And then, of course, sponsorship. If you guys are interested in sponsoring the Houston Sports State of the Union podcast, I would love to represent your business and help grow your business. All right, guys, next week, I'm doing it on a Tuesday. My man Mike Duncan is going to come in, and we're going to talk about Houston Dynamo FC. We were supposed to do that this week, but I got so busy having so much fun this week, I forgot to give him a call and remind him. So he'll be here next week. We're going to have a great time. Tuesday, 6:30, I think is the time we're going with. Until then, I want you guys to stay 10 toes down for H-Town. I love you guys. We'll see you next week.
This has been the Houston Sports State of the Union podcast, hosted by Nick Stevenson. Tune in next week for more news and analysis of your favorite Houston teams. Please follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, the app, formerly known as Twitter, if that's even really still a thing. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content.